have an arrest warrant for them. Yo, spooky out here. It's getting spooky in the game. Let's get in here where it's light. Oh yeah, sorry for the crazy delay. The reason why there's a crazy delay and what went down is that we had a whole power outage thing. So it wasn't YouTube. It wasn't them trying to block me out this time. Like, I don't know what they're going to do next time around. But this time it wasn't their fault. All right. This time it wasn't their fault. Now, this is a whole different type of situation. 50 and Omari Hardwick situation is one that is unique in its own way, in its own right, because these two really don't have a beef. Okay, they have a misunderstanding in how things was distributed. If you know what that means, how it was presented to the world. They have a problem with the language in which took place and what they actually did amongst the two. The language was different. Okay, there it is. I was wondering when it was going to kick in. But the language is different. And these two have a miscommunication that seems to have been growing, because what Omari Hardwick problem with has nothing really to do with 50 Cent. His problem is with the studio itself. Now, Fifth being an executive producer, what he got an EP credit for is mostly the creative writing and making sure the characters are authentic in the story that they're trying to tell when you got these other writers that's in the room. Omari Hardwick, is his only complaint is not only just like what he's getting paid. Like, everybody thinks it's all just about money. It wasn't always about money. Now, the whole process wasn't about just money. And that's the misconception that everybody seems to keep falling for, is this, it's about money. Omari Hardwick wanted money and they didn't want to give him his money. And now they finally give him his money. And it's not always about money, people. It was actually the direction in which they were willing to go. Now, $1 Million Worth of Game actually sat down with Fifth, and he addressed Omari Hardwick's situation once again, illustrating that it was bigger than just money. Now, no, you have a lot of people that don't want to buy in, right? Because they're so used to having control over said products. They want control over direction. They want control over everything moving. So when you see a situation or a scenario in which it doesn't benefit you and it start going around to another department, What Fifth was saying was correct, and what Omari Hardwick was saying is correct. Both are right in their assessments. But these two bump heads because Fifth has his interpretation of what Omari Hardwick is saying. Omari Hardwick has his own interpretations of what he means. And what he's meaning is not has anything to do with 50 Cent. It's not about him in this situation. Fifth is basically assuming that Omari Hardwick is being ungrateful for the situation. He's kind of coming off as honorary and saying that, you know, it's if it wasn't for me, I did that, I did this. When that clearly wasn't his intentions. Now, apparently he reached out to 50 to clarify what he meant when he made the statement. He wasn't trying to belittle 50 Cent or come in a direction that would make 50 Cent feel a certain way towards him. You feel me? He wasn't doing something that would make 50 Cent say, well, I don't trust this guy. I don't know what this guy is doing. I don't know what he wants or nothing. He never took that angle. He never took that position with Omari Hardwick. Nothing at all put him in that position. Now, truly he deserved more money. It wasn't even a question. And the fact that they put him in that position and didn't give him a raise it highlights another problem, the same problem 50 Cent was having with the studio. Now, Fifth was having the same problems with the studio, with Starz. That's what this is about, really, is Starz. This whole battle was with that. And Courtney Kemp and Omari, the showrunner, he kept bumping heads with her because the writers wasn't listening. Then he has to take it to Courtney, and they have a direction in where they want to go. And then the studio, Starz, have a direction in where they want this to go. Now, this is a show they wanted nothing to do with when it first got started. And now, as the show is materializing, now it's a big hit for the network, they want to show it on all their channels. You got Power on 3 different states of Starz stations. It's Power Week. And they got all Power just flowing on there. Now, 90% of us was not even subscribed to Starz before they had Power. Power sold their entire app. They didn't have an app yet. They got Power, then they got an app. Then made people have to get the app to see the early. If you want to see Power early, you got to get the app. So people start downloading the app. So that app is responsible. Power is responsible for boosting that app, that whole network, and he was the face of Starz. Omari Hardwick was the face of Starz. When they advertise Starz, subscribe, they show ghosts. Omari Hardwick's face. Ghosts. Power. So that's what the whole dynamic was. And a lot of people wasn't grasping it when they should have, because what he was saying was so vivid, so clear, and so true. It was precise. And a lot of these people did not know right. A lot of people did not know what the direction was, why did the show was taking these angles they were taking. They didn't have a clue. But 50 Cent knows this is exactly what the problem is. And we're going to go over a lot of that. But I want y'all to hear what 50 said on this show. Don't forget to follow $1 Million Worth of Game by Gillian Wallow. Here's a clip Let y'all hear it for y'all.
Make the series, bro. It doesn't require stars. It requires talent. When people are authentic, they can be playing a character that they can play because they notice behavior.
And one thing I said, you need stars.
That's it. They didn't know. Look, bro, I was going, what is wrong with these people? They was acting like, I said, you number one African American Latino household for 10 years. Multiple shows. I talked to Tyler about it. I watched, he's still putting up number one. Yeah. He'll send it to me in advance. I said, for your eyes only, don't even show nobody. He got more. He got more. And you'll see me start doing things. Since we got here, I didn't even mention the 50 Cent Action, my channel. It'll come, I got 18 hours of premium content that I'm gonna run through there. So
it's just gonna be like Netflix or something. Like it's gonna be
1,800 hours. It's free television.
It's called 50 Cent Action.
It's ad driven. So there's no fee for you to have that app on your television.
So I can
just click like Netflix, just download it onto your TV, and it's free.
And you got the ad revenue is paying for everything.
Power, everything's there.
So being the fact that I can count like at least 4 stars you done need from.
Now, what he's talking about is his Power Action or his 50 Cent Action channel that he's gonna have streaming, meaning that you could download this app on your television, and for 18 hours of content, it's just gonna have all this free content. All you gotta do, the ad revenue and whatever is gonna be paying for it. So it's just like Freeview. You know how they got Freeview out there? And it's free. 50 Cent is gonna have one. And he's saying Power is gonna be on there. He's gonna be showing a whole lot of different content on there, 18 hours of content. That's his new streaming app that's coming out. No, the ad companies are paying for it. See, you're paying Netflix not to show you ads. Then they're making exclusive movies based off of subscriber ratings and the ratios. Now, when people take on new creators, they're going to want to be there from the ground level all the way up because they believe in it, right? Like, remember, Netflix used to be just video rentals. You used to get that in the mail. Then Redbox came in and they put Blockbuster out of business because Blockbuster, they turned their nose up at it. Netflix could have got bought out by Blockbuster and they would have owned it, all of it. But Blockbuster got arrogant, thinking that the way they was doing it and didn't modify with the times was going to last forever. And they were wrong. Big time. So what 50 Cent is basically doing is creating a Freeview. And he's going to have 18 hours of content like every day. It's going to be like 18 hours of content. Boom, 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 boom. And Freeview is you can just go on there, bop, pick what you want to watch, you know? And then you got the ads that pop up and whatever, and you could pay to have the ads, you know. I don't want to see the ads, so you're paying to have that off. So $50 Cent is setting himself up to be a billionaire because in real life, he's Ghost. It wasn't that Kanan wasn't smart. Kanan was smart too. He just knows how to apply his street smarts, what he learned from the streets, and he's learned how to handle business. So he's been in the business side for a while now. You know, 50's been in this game here since 2005. 2003, 5. I mean, and like dealing with this kind of revenue and success. So he's got about 20 years of business experience and what he's learned in the business for entertainment, how to build a studio, build a company. Well, what you're starting to notice now is life is a complete circle of emotions, and opportunities come, and you got to be willing to deal with them. Like rich people don't deal with their problems. That's one misconception people have. Poor people deal with their problems. Rich people don't do with that. Rich people look to make opportunities, and those opportunities will handle the problems. They ain't worried about the problems. They know that they're there. They ain't worried about the problems. They're not worrying about problems that's going to make more problems. They worried about opportunities. They're more interested in the opportunities that'll handle all the problems. That'll all get worked out if those opportunities plan out. That's how rich people think. Rich people don't think, let me just deal with these problems. They don't think like that. Poor people think like that. Have you noticed people who's dealt with problems and they're poor, what end up happening? They end up creating new problems, and then the problems expand. Because instead of dealing with the solution, they're trying to deal with just the problem. They're trying to find a solution to this problem instead of taking advantage of opportunities that's in front of them. It's focusing on those opportunities that could be the solution to the problems. Problems will get handled. Right? Now let's move right along.
TV series. But then when you sit back and you see like Ghost, Omari Hardwick say, I didn't get paid what I was supposed to get paid, and how that make you feel?
Look, he doesn't mean that to me. Right? He'll send a DM, y'all, I didn't mean for that to come out like them turning it around into something else. And I go, but that it still is what it is. They're still saying what they're saying. Right? At the end of the day, Ghost was supposed to die where I died.
Oh, you extended it.
I extended it.
Yeah.
I told her she was planning to kill him. See, when people have success for the first time, sometimes they need it to be their own. The problem with working with 50 Cent is it's 50 Cent's show. The writers, multiple writers in the room, real talented. Building this, putting it together. There's no one person responsible for a hit TV show. It's multiple people having a moment. The actors are bringing the characters to life. The writers are making it's coming together. Right?
And it all starts with the writers.
Right, but it starts right. We ain't got
Don't matter.
So how many writers you have in the room?
11.
11 writers.
That's the difference, because all you recognize is a showrunner. You only look.
See, the only thing you recognize is the showrunner. Except for me, I do recognize the writers, because then I know who's writing what and who's writing good and who's writing bad. So when I tell you the writing was terrible and this person who was writing for the show, once he didn't come back, I knew that's when the writing fell off for the show. And I started seeing them go cheaper. And once the person who was writing for the show in the first 2 seasons, that person wasn't coming back. And then they were going with new writers, and, it was all about cameos and, people, it's a good look. Oh, who's going to be on Power this year? That's when I knew the show was going into a different direction. Like having Kendrick Lamar on there, it's like, we got Kendrick Lamar, it's like, come on, man. That's what blew my mind though with Fifth and this Drake situation. That's what blew my mind with Fifth and Drake situation. Because it's like, dog, Kendrick worked with you before. What's your allegiance to this dude? Dr. Dre, Kendrick, that's something you don't even supposed to get in the ring with. So you going over there embracing Drake in this battle, and he's spinning your G Unit chain in the damn video. It looks goofy. Kendrick was actually in Power. Came and did your show when he was the biggest artist in the world. in case y'all don't know, Kendrick get invited to do everything. They was like, hey, you want to be on this show? We got this feature. Kendrick don't do any of it. He turns these things down. Stuff Drake would throw himself at. Kendrick get offered all of it and turns it down. But he chose to do The Power with 50 Cent and do that character.
Looking at the show, and it was 11 people responsible for what you just
Right.
said. So you look, you go, when I'm there, it gets uncomfortable at points when it goes on for a long time, a lot of success, and it keeps saying 50 Cent, 50 Cent, 50 Cent, 50 Cent. Yeah, I'd be comfortable with it. At Peacock, right now, I'm the #2 highest rated show with the TikTok murders. I never said this stat to nobody because #2 is the first one to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about #2s. I like #1s.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But it's still the second highest rated they've seen in that 30-day time period. And that company is going to, next time I pitch something that's a documentary, it's going to say, yes, we don't even need to think about it, put it right here.
Mm-hmm.
How do a pitch go? Is it a deck or is it?
Sometimes they make decks and stuff like that, but I don't pitch like, look, most people pitch and they need a show, they need a show to work. That's all they need to be comfortable in life, a producer.
One show.
One hit show that's a long running show.
And you got 4 of them right now, huh?
I got 34 shows across 10 different networks, but 4 of them are actively running on Starz. And this is the only reason why I would commit. Look, there's nobody else that could commit to this report thing. What makes sense for them? There's $27 million in that building that I put alone, just the studio. Everything that I bought away from that is shit I bought just because I need them to feel what you feel, what we feel right now.
Yeah.
So Fifth already is a great businessman and he sees the numbers. Now, the only thing that I could see here, the thing is, here's what y'all didn't know and that y'all would love to know about Power, right? That I know. Let me tell you what I know. Power was supposed to go 5 seasons. They written out 5 seasons for the show, and that was the direction. From the very inception of it, Tyreek was going to end up, they had this building up that Tyreek in the writing would kill Ghost. And I've always stated it, sins of a father. They wanted to have that narrative that Ghost was going to meet his end by his son. And that was always the direction in the original 5 scripts that they written out. And they were playing it out. Now, the actors didn't get these scripts. Only the writers had access to all of these scripts. And Courtney was the main writer of the whole show. She did like 3 scripts. 3 seasons. Not scripts, 3 scripts. 3 seasons. She personally written out the stories. Now, what I mean by that is she written out the story of the seasons, meaning that like by episode, they'll have to work on what's happening with this puzzle, how they write it. But for the season outlay, you're going to know everything in a one sheet on what's going on in that season, what's supposed to transpire in this season, what's supposed to transpire in season 2, season 3. So she wrote her treatments for all of these seasons. And then the final finale, which she wrote in the 5th season, was that the son, which was Tyreek, was going to basically take his father's place as he tried to avoid, but all the sins that he was getting away with, and it looked like he was so slick, he was so smart, it all came back to catch him, and it all comes back to you, and it blows back on your family. So this is what she wanted. Omari Hardwick, because what was happening with the success of Power, they actually did a 6th season. It was supposed to be 5. Omari Hardwick did 5 seasons. Now, Omari Hardwick was supposed to die in the 4th season. And that's where they said this whole thing, he was like Ghost was really supposed to die when I died. He was supposed to die in that season. Same season, Tariq was gonna kill him, and all of this situation that happened. Tariq hit Mastermind and got him out of the way. They were supposed to be wiped out, all in that season. And the 5th season of Power, the final season, was going to be the one where everything gets ironed out. Remember, Angie died in the 4th season, the end of 4th season. The 5th season with him and Tommy and all that was brewing and how they had to go through their ordeal. At the end of that season, he was going to die with Kanan. Kanan 50 Cent was going to die that season, and so was Omari Hardwick. And then going in the next season, that's when you were going to find out Tariq did it, the whole 9. Then they came up with a concept of they were going to do a raffle contest to see, like, we're going to have it like a Who Shot JR. In case you guys are super young, and I know majority of you are, there was a TV show called Dallas. J.R. Ewing was the big star of the show. And then the season finale, he was shot, and they didn't tell you anything about it. And you had to wait till the season premiere of the show to find out who shot JR. And it was a ratings bonanza. Yeah, the ratings was through the roof. So now, if you look at everything that they've been doing lately, you see the direction is changing. And while the direction is changing, you're starting to see people, do their own thing. In other words, So you say, okay, well, who's ready to do their own thing here? I don't really know, but it's all in place for them to do it. Yeah, Proctor was supposed to die a season earlier, but Proctor was a hit, so they kept Proctor alive and said, "Hey, people love Proctor. Let's just keep him on the show. Let's not kill him." So Proctor was supposed to die a whole season in, and then they decided to keep him on board. So a lot of things happen within the show. They keep guys on the show longer. So yeah, Julio that was on the show, he was supposed to die at that time. They had a scene where he was supposed to die in like season 2, Saving Ghost, and they changed that script. Omari Hardwick had a problem with Tyreek actually killing him. That's the problem he had. He had no problem with Ghost dying. He was okay with that. He was just saying, we have a successful Black show with a Black family and all of these things, Courtney. Everybody's been changing things on this show. And the ending I was promised was saying that we're not going to go down that road now because we actually did the Essence Fest, like all these Black networks, right? The Essence, the Griot, all these people that talk about Black excellence, and we're reflecting and they're watching our show. And all of these things, to have the son, a Black son, kill his father now, it seems like a cop-out. I can imagine you having that in the beginning, but after the show has grown to what it is, to have that same ending play out, is like, do we want to reflect that to the Black community with all the violence and gun violence that we're seeing right now? Do we really want to reflect that? Hey, he's like, shoot, I don't mind. Have Tommy, Kanan kill me, anybody. If you want, whatever you want to write, but to have Tariq do that, when Ghost has been a family man, he cared about his family. He was a guy that was all about his family. To turn that to what they turned that into, that season 6, Omari Hardwick hates season 6. Hated it. because that was a constant fight with him and Starz. And you could see it how badly they written his character. But it was a funny scene in there. I ain't gonna lie. That it is a funny scene in there, and that just shows you when somebody's just doing their job and they don't like that they got to do their job, but they so damn good at it. Omari Hardwick had a scene in that, which was the best scene of the entire series, is when he tells Tasha, I'm taking Tyreek and Yas with me. I'm getting custody of them. Yeah, but she's a much better figure to be a mother than you. Yeah, and stop selling drugs. I'm totally legit now. And I'm totally legit now. I'm finally legit. I don't need to be doing nothing else illegal no more. And she's a much better fit mother for them anyway. I'm getting custody of them. Yeah, and stop selling drugs, Tasha. Man, that's the funniest thing ever. The way he told Tasha to stop selling drugs. Like, that was hilarious. Now, but everything in season 6 goes against the character of who not just Omari Hardwick is, who Ghost is. James St. Patrick would not act like that in season 6 at all. They were trying to make him an unlikable character. Now he's a guy that's beating on his family and getting drunk, wanting to throw Tasha around and start choking her and hitting Tasha. I'm like, oh, he was never this guy. He was never that guy. Just reacting to things out of anger, doing stupid things like that. That took away from the whole character he was. They made him like a drunk. They made him so you would despise him. So you knew he was finna die. So I'm like, everybody knew Ghost was finna die. It was like, yeah, he finna die. And they was like, who gonna kill him? That's just all to it. It's like, dude, I told you in season 3, this is why they came after me so tough. This is why they came after me so tough. You damn right I was watching Knots Landing. I didn't really follow Dallas too much. I was too young, but I remember when they shot Who Shot JR, my whole family was sitting on the couch. All of us was sitting on one couch, piled up on a chair. And I don't even know what we watching. I'm like, what is this? Who's Dallas? We finna find out who shot JR. We watching the TV. And when it went off, I didn't know who shot him still. And everybody was disappointed. And I still to this day don't know who shot JR. and we supposedly watched the whole show. Now, everybody is learning from a whole different stanza. See, when you stuck on a platform that's like sinking or getting old and you've had some success there, it's hard to leave that platform and go to another thing. And this is what 50 was saying. It's like, okay, you didn't make the money or whatever, but now you got the opportunity to make more money. Go make more. You know, don't look at the small opportunity, because 50 didn't get paid a lot when he got there. And look what he built it to. He took less money, and people was like, man, 50, why you take that little bit of money? You must be starving. 50 must be broke. He took that. No, he took the opportunity. And now that opportunity is what? Dealing with all the problems he would have had in the past. All the problems, the bankruptcy, all that craziness, right? Look at that. That one little small bit of money he took, right? For Power. Look what Power became. Now, there ain't a producer that wouldn't listen to 50 Cent walk into the office. 50 Cent, 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 50 C Like he said on Peacock, he got the #2 show, the TikTok murder. #2 show. So now when he come walking in the studio, they gonna green light everything he want now. Because he's already proven he can make shows that work. I know I'm giving y'all Patreon material right now. Stuff I'm supposed to be giving y'all. Now, hit the like button too, good people. Hit the like button. I know y'all just probably got here, but please hit the like button up. So what he was trying to teach Omari Hardwick was that element right there.
The writers, multiple writers in the room, real talented. Almost forget. He'll send it to me in advance. I said, for your eyes only, don't even show nobody. Still got more. He'll send a DM, y'all. I didn't mean for that to come out like them turning it around and something else. And I go, but that it still is what it is. They're still saying what they're saying. Right? At the end of the day, Ghost was supposed to die where I died.
Oh, you extended it.
I extended it.
Yeah.
I told her she was planning to come see. When people have success for the first time, sometimes they need it to be their own. The problem with working with 50 Cent is it's 50 Cent's show. The writers, multiple writers in the room, real talented. Building this, putting it together. There's no one person responsible for a hit TV show. It's multiple people having a moment. The actors are bringing characters to life. The writers are making it's coming together, right?
And it all starts with the
So Fifth said he extended it, which means that he is the creative consultant. So whenever there's something they do and they say, hey, Fifth, we want to do this, and it doesn't look authentic, then that's how you know they don't have 50. Because they try to write something on Power Book 2 saying we got to make like 30, what they had to make like 30,000 or 300,000 or whatever in like one day. And then they're all selling like some stuff. And I forgot on Power. They was like, oh, we got to sell all this product and then we can come up with the 300,000 or whatever. I'm just like, or whatever amount it was. But I remember that in like the first season, I'm like, oh yeah, Fifth ain't consulting this show. I knew right away. I was like, Fifth ain't consulting this because he would every person, somebody like me, I'm about to tell on myself. But ain't no way in hell. 3 people go sell to a school and get that kind of money. No way. And now, in a couple of hours. So that's how you knew it wasn't working. Hey, Jamil, NYG getting ready to make a move next season. I think next season is their year. They gonna make some noise. I heard y'all gonna get Belichick, and Belichick gonna get Dak Prescott from the Cowboys. Cowboys gonna work out a deal. They want to get Dak out of the conference, but the Giants want him. So they want to take Dak. They want to get rid of Danny Dimes. Yeah, I think y'all getting Belichick. I've been hearing news about that. Some movement about they finna fire their head coach after this year, even though they liked him, but they was just like, and he's a good coach. The guy they got from the Bills, he's pretty good. I'm just like, man, y'all ready to give everything over to Belichick? Belichick finna run the show. And he want to get the Giants back to winning Super Bowls. He's like, well, that's the only team that beat Belichick twice. It was the Giants. Like Method Man, the character Method Man got was T.I.'s character. And right before that, T.I. ran into some type of problem with a lawsuit or whatever, and they changed characters at the last minute, and then they called up Method Man and got Method Man in there. And that was the best Davis McLean character is the best thing on the show, especially last season. I mean, that was my favorite part of the whole season last year, a book 2. All right, come on, let's go get these bricks. Him, Michael Ealy's character is so, yeah, I like what was going on. Seti Osman, another white boy that can shoot that can't play defense. Okay. Redman wouldn't take the jab, so he couldn't work. Redman character was only limited anyway. He was not going to be on, it wasn't a long-standing character. When he had to have his brother in, he chose to bring in Redman. So that was Meth suggesting Red. Tommy and Ghost had the most range. Kanan was not the best acting character on the show, but he was impactful. He wasn't there. He was a supporting character. And once he became like, everybody loved to see Kanan, then they made it more about putting Kanan on the show, you know, so. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the page, hit the like button, the Cash App is Carcino. I'm quite sure you've seen that. Oh, there it is. So, yeah, if you want to donate to the page, we appreciate it. Will Raising Kanan go the distance? No. I think Raising Kanan, this might be its final season that's coming up. They haven't announced that, but this might be it. When it starts to reach a certain level, you got to start paying actors more, and they just want to keep doing shows with a whole new cast and keep calling it Power, keep the cost low, so we don't have to pay somebody all the money that they deserve, which sucks. See, the same problem happened with The Wire. Don't nobody remember it, so they don't really, focus on that. But the same problem happened with The Wire. That's because on The Wire, there was no real big budget. They never had no money before. So now what you're seeing is a situation that's like, oh, okay, we got money now. So what do we do? I don't know how to use it. Well, what do we do here? You see what I'm saying? So the news and entertainment level is entirely different. Now, some people could have a problem with it. Like Courtney Cox was having a problem with 50 Cent getting a lot of the credit. She really was. So they had to make sure Courtney Kemp was getting her shine too. Because everybody looks at Power as 50's show. And it's really her show. She's the showrunner. She's written Power, the characters. Courtney did all this. So they do these shows to kind of honor her. Like Courtney wrote that, all the stuff. And then Courtney wrote that. They came up with the writers. Like I say these lines, but I'm not writing the lines. I'll just make sure if it's authentic, or that guy would never say that. Fifth would be like, he'll never do that. What he would do is this. There's no way they're going to do this transaction like that. This wouldn't happen there. These guys would meet together. He would not sit there and meet with a crew. That's not going to happen. Like this guy's a premier, and they are in charge of their whole section. Somebody had to give them this spot to run. So he made it like official, like it was structured in the street business. And that's how it was. It was structured. If somebody like that was loaning them money, they're not going to trust a black man who couldn't speak Spanish to be running their whole operation like that. You had to speak Spanish if that was going to be the case. You couldn't. It's New York. There's no way. And most black guys, there's a lot of black guys that you think is black guys that speak that guala, guala, guala. So, yeah, that's just how it is, man. So you got to understand that, well, you don't have to understand it, but understand that in this business, this is how it works. When they first did the show, Tommy was supposed to die in season 2. They were going to have Tommy die in season 2. And it was going to come down to where Ghost was going to have to kill Tommy or kill Angela, because he was going to kill Angela and Ghost had to kill Tommy. That was in season 2. Season 2, Ghost was going to eventually kill Tommy. He was going to have to choose Angie or Tommy, because Tommy was going to kill Angela. And he had the gun, and he was going to have to make a decision. Yeah. That was the season 2 standoff. Right at the end of season 2, Angela had her gun on Ghost, and she was going to have to make a decision. Was she going to shoot and kill Ghost? And Ghost had the gun on Tommy. Tommy had the gun on Angela. It was set up in that dynamic. And she was going to tell Jamie, like, don't, like she was going to shoot him. And Tommy was like, I'm going to have to drop her, Ghost. Ghost was like, don't shoot Angela. And he was getting ready to shoot Angela. And he knew Tommy was going to do it. And he was like, I know you ain't finna choose her over me. I know it. And then, boom, Ghost killed Tommy. That was supposed to happen. It was already written out. And see, when they first made the show, after season 1, they changed all that. Yeah, what you don't know, buddy. What you don't know. Tommy was supposed to die, and he knew it. He was like, I thought they was going to kill me off. He was going to die. He felt like after season 1, they was going to kill him, but the show became so big, they couldn't, he was a major part of it. You couldn't kill him off. It was like, they can't kill you. And Omari Hardwick told him, like, dog, they're not going to kill you off. Relax. Relax. They're not going to kill you. He was like, nah, I think they're going to. Right. And I'm like, dude, I'm terrible with names. Dog, I was so plugged with Power all the way to the final season, the original Power. They only got mad at me when Power Book 2 came around, and I wasn't really on board, and I was criticizing the show. So that's when they started hating on me. Starz, they really went against me after that fact. But when they signed with Lionsgate, took over, and they bought out everything, that's when the problem started. whole new people, and that's just how it is. It's like you work at a job and you know all the old owners and you real cool, and you get some new supervisors, new bosses. Right. So they came here to the Chicago Sun-Times and they did the show, and I met them for the very first time. Is when they came here to do the Power, when they was getting this, when they first got the show. The cast members, they came and sat down, and Joseph Sakura is from here, you know, and if it wasn't for him being from Chicago and knowing the people that we know and associated with, and he's plugged in Inglewood, like for real plugged in Inglewood, it ain't no joke.
And I think that the story itself is a love story. It's a love story between brothers, especially Omari, who wants to legitimize this money that's coming in through the drug trade that we are lords of in New York.
Ghost wants to.
Ghost wants to.
Yeah, you know people will be right now. Like,
Omari, we know him now.
He's navigating. You know, he's trying to figure out how to get from one side of life, which is a dark, grim side, where he and Tommy, played by Joe, have sort of dominated in a city where, as the title track that Curtis introduces the show with, they're from a big rich town, you know, and they just grew up in the poorest part. And so he's trying to figure out how to let that life go, while Joe's character wants me to hold on desperately to that life, because all he knows is that it's brought us to fame, not only fame in terms of popularity, because it's the last thing we want. We want to remain obscure, but fame in terms of being more powerful than anybody who grew up in our neighborhood. And of course, I want to create new pathways, new opportunities. I want to sort of cut across the grain and become this entrepreneur of clubs internationally, not only in New York, but, you know, across the pond as well. Those are my dreams, lofty dreams that I think are still connected to his father, which when you watch the series, you'll see that, you know, underneath all of this is this sort of like baton carrying that Ghost is trying to do to maintain what his father once dreamed of doing with clubs.
I think it's very reflective of New York as well. There's so much, the Latino community is really strongly represented, especially with Ghost speaking Spanish. And then, of course, we have white, black, and everything in between, and that's only going to grow. Hopefully there's more and more seasons, and it really shows New York off as the incredible, diverse community
Melting pot that it is.
You mean?
So right away, what they were trying to establish to you was that Ghost and his father, the connection to his father and fulfilling what his father wanted to do. That's why he really got into the nightclub business. He wanted to be legit. But you never really knew too much about Ghost's father and his past and what the contrast was. That if he didn't run into Canaan, Ghost would have wound up in an Ivy League school. That's where he would have been. He got sidetracked, hustling, selling drugs, meeting Tasha. After Angie and him broke up, she went away, and they sent her to school to get her away from him, because all he was going to do was bring her down. Her family saw that. And they sent her away to school, and she ended up coming back a Fed. And by the time she came back, he's already established in what he's doing. But she loved him. And you see that dynamic. And what 50 Cent was able to talk about was, because of this show's dynamic with culture, with Latinos and Blacks, this was the #1 household, not only in Black households, but in Latino households. Latinos love to watch Power. Like, they watch that show too. It's a lot of Latino representation on there. So for them to call it just a Black show, because the main characters are Black and Tommy's white, so that dynamic there changed. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. This is how you have a hit show. Latino market and Black market is huge. And to show that the two in this world you know, in that world, they work together in a lot of aspects. And in New York, they gotta see each other every day. You know, they work together. So you see an Asian guy, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Y'all might not hang out, but in some places they do. They in the same area. They from the same hood. How am I marginalizing them? Blacks and Latinos watch TV all day. No, but when they do watch, they choose to watch Power, sir. It doesn't mean they watch TV all day. But meaning that they're number one don't mean that you just stay 24 hours watching the show. Power is only 50 minutes. So they spend their 50 minutes watching Power when it's on. Oh my God, man. Y'all just doing too much. He said Omari is bigger than Power. What he's trying to say is what Omari Hardwick was saying was that Omari Hardwick is bigger than James St. Patrick Ghost. That's what he's saying. Like, don't typecast me as like, oh, Ghost is on the show. You know, he's Omari Hardwick, and he's like, I could play many characters. Like, he's made, it's not about the money. That's what I'm saying. It's not, it's about the respect factor. He has been disrespected by them gratefully. They tried to bring him back for Power Book 2 and these different scenes because Ghost is dead. He's dead. But they were gonna bring him back in a memory thing, and so they wanted to pay him whatever. No, he's not coming back. And I keep telling everybody, like, no, they going before they end this. Ghost gotta come back. The money better be right. The respect gotta be right. All the shows, they did 6 seasons. He never directed one episode. They had 50 Cent direct some episodes. They've had Taraji P. Henson direct some episodes. When she did Empire, they let everybody, they always would have the characters at least get a chance at directing a show to get behind the screens and you know, see their abilities in directing. He never got the opportunity. They never offered it to him. Not once. And he was the head of the show, and people thought that was odd. That's odd. Like, they let everybody, you the star of the show, and you don't get to direct not one episode. That's how you know the problems are greater than what has been broadcast to you. That's how you know it's greater. That's right. People are going to be waiting to see. We never saw Ghost's body. That was on purpose. But you never saw his body and they never had the funeral because after that, he was done. After he filmed the final season 6, the Omari Hardwick was done. He wasn't coming back. He didn't leave happy. When somebody don't leave happy, you ain't gonna be able to show his body anyway. But yeah, when you don't have, they had the funeral and everything. They never said it was a closed casket or whatever. Like, it wasn't open casket. Could have been open casket, but they never ever seemed to harbor the right emotion for everything. Exactly. He's not blaming 50 Cent. The way they worded it in the interview made it look like he was targeting 50 Cent with it because they trying to sell a magazine or whatever interview. So they're trying to make it about 50 Cent. And that's when Fifth was like, whoa, wait a minute now.
Period. It's happening now, finally. So Omari Hardwick killed off and that he thought it would be a different ending for him. And he said he wasn't paid as much as he should have been paid on that show during another interview. More than I still haven't made what I should have made. You never made the money. No, the money. I've never made what I should have made. Never. On the back end. Period. It's happening now, finally.
It's happening now, finally. He's getting paid what he deserves. Omari Hardwick was paid. He just did a movie with fantasy football. He did that. He played a running back. You know, he played football. So that was his thing, his key to fame when he was first coming out. Because he was only doing guest appearances and things. You see, you got to understand, he was only doing guest appearances at the time. So it wasn't always a written thing. And Joseph Secura always thought, like, they're going to kill me off. And in the original script in the second season, he was going to die.
The far northwest side, off the Bryn Mawr exit on the Kennedy for the Chicagoans among us. It's called Norwood Park, and I grew up in Norwood Park and Jefferson Park, the far northwest side. And I went to high school.
Park. You guys catch that? Park. He's truly a Chicago.
We're all
man.
divided into parks.
That's
It's
it.
a city of parks. It's actually one of its other names is the City in a Garden. Isn't that pretty?
That is pretty.
So
You kind of got a garden feel to you.
that's true. I'm floral. I smell good. I look good. Part of the
Shut
thing.
up.
Yeah. So I went to high school in Niles. It's a border suburb just north, not too far. And I went to Columbia College, Chicago.
I'm from ATL, shout, and Decatur, where it's greater, more specifically. And went to high school about 40 minutes away to a school very similar to Joe. It used to be a boys' school, actually home to David Hasselhoff before he was kicked out, or high school home to him. And then, you know, and I was one of maybe 13 blacks in the school when I got there. You know, sports sort of drew me in. I played all the ball and found the pen as a poet back then when I was in high school. And ultimately found my way to University of Georgia, where I played football and minored in theater. And 17 years later, coming out of college, I found my way to Joe Shikora from Chicago. Joe, you want to tell me what I always tell you? That's an awesome question.
Make the sign of the cross before you read each script.
I don't say that to him.
Courtney says that.
Every time he brings it up, I say, Joe, you're not going anywhere, brother. They very much need you on the show. And he goes, and you know, and I respect it and honor it because we both come from theater, and you know, he respects the craft. He's so talented, but at his base, the talent comes from a place of respect for what we do. He doesn't take it lightly, and so in his mind, he's like, I better run hard every episode. I tend to think he's gonna be around.
But also, really, to speak of that and give my partner here some credits where credit is due. I think, like 50, Omari brings his A game, as does everybody. But Omari brings that in a way that it's like, yeah, I expect an A game back, but it's also like, that's why you're here, man. A game. So it really encourages, I think, not only me, but I think from Omari, it does bleed down. And I think that the series is going to be incredibly special because everybody stepped up to the plate to play. And it's going to be a really exciting season.
So that's why he's saying, I think he's gonna stick around. Like you can't take Joe off the show. Like if you'd have killed Tommy in season 2, what was gonna happen in season 3? It doesn't make sense. Oh, I know a lot of secrets in Power that you guys would never know that's on the writing room floor. Oh man, it's so much. Like that was a big step. Killing Tommy was a big step. Yep. They had to have the Tommy and they had to play that dynamic out between Holly and her and Tommy clashing, Kanan being the main villain in that dynamic. Tommy dying in the season finale after basically finding out that Ghost set up Kanan and, he didn't trust him and all that. And they do the whole fight, that whole scene when he shows up there at the warehouse. She shows up and they all got guns on each other. And she decides not to shoot him. Ghost shot Tommy because Tommy was finna kill him. And after seeing that, Ghost saved her and all of this, and then she was like, oh my God, like what just happened? What are we gonna do? I can't do this anymore. And he was telling her, Ghost is dead. Don't worry about it. I've taken care of everything. Ghost is dead. I'm out. I'm out. This is it. Tommy's dead. That's it. It's me and you. And that's how it went off, like a sweet song. Everybody was happy on a happy note. Then they show you that 50 survived. So season 3 is just basically Kanan trying to get back at Ghost, but Tommy's dead. It was terrible. They decided after the popularity of season 1, we're changing that. Boom, done. Angela Valdez was supposed to get pregnant. She was having a baby. And Tasha still doesn't really know fully about Angela. And then you didn't know who the father was. Was it Greg Knox or was it Omari Hardwick? And then Omari Hardwick says, are you going to keep this baby? And I want her to keep the baby. Then Angie is thinking, I can't have a baby. I'm going to get a promotion and all this. And then that was going to go into the whole abortions issue. And you had the Trump election and all of that stuff with the abortion stuff was going on. They didn't want to make that show about abortion. So they took the baby, Angie's baby, out of the story. So Angela's baby out of the story. Yeah. Yasmin, the baby who survived, she ended up, Yasmin was the baby that was going to die, not the twin. Her and Tyreek she was never supposed to die. Yasmin was going to die, the youngest child. After she survived the choking incident, that was the warning for Ghost messing with Angela. That was giving you the premise of, see, this is your sins coming back to hurt your family. The baby got saved this time because she was choking on something. You was able to find it and pull it out in enough time to save her. Now, the second time around, she didn't make it. There was a scene that was written where the police officer came to kill Ghost. And he thought Ghost was in the car, but it wasn't. It was actually Tasha in the car with Yaz. And she had a driver. And they all fell in the river or whatever. And 911 was called. They shot the car up. And the car falls in the river. The driver is shot. Tasha was in the car. They bring her back. She wasn't shot, but the car flipped and went into the water. Yaz drowned. They saved Tasha, but Yaz drowned. So Ghost finds out Yaz drowned, and they found out it was the cop, and it was all the stuff Tariq had did that caused all of this to happen. The sister finds out about it, that it was Tariq's fault. And Tariq she was trying to convince the sister and corrupt her to be like him. Like, we twins, we're alike. And she was totally not like Tariq. And this was the original direction that they wanted to go in with the baby Yaz, and then studio at Starz said that's too harsh. Little 4-year-old black girl drowning, that's just too harsh. Let's take the other daughter out. So that wasn't as harsh, I guess. So Starz didn't want that. They shot that scene down. So then, just out of the blue, like Sheeta had no idea her character was gonna die. She was not like disheartened, like, oh my God, they're gonna take me out. Yeah, and then the character that was who lived longer, way longer than he should. Tommy's cousin, Italian cousin, who was in charge over there. Like, he was supposed to go a long time ago. Like, he was just like, man, I got extended all the way to season 6. Like, this is great. It made it all the way to like the end, the very last episode. I saw him the day that we did the show. They did a Q&A. They had everybody there from Power that was invited. You had to get a special ticket. And it was an amazing day. You know, Joseph Secura, thank him for making that available for us here in Chicago to check that out. Yeah, we got to watch it with y'all in the movie theater though. They had rented out the whole special event for Power, and there's a Q&A. Oh, yeah, I was living it up.
Jason.
You know, it's hard because it's like the difference between Curtis Jackson III and 50 Cent, where like Stevie Ray and Chris Fellows like these zombie legends that are just taking away from each other. So it's, yeah, you can get it by saying, call me Joe, call me Tommy, just call me.
Just call it. How many people have you killed all together?
38 from Soup to Nuts.
Wow. I was sitting there, I was thinking already, just my second time, I was thinking, how many people has he killed? Okay, how special?
I thought he killed 38 now.
Very special for many reasons, obviously, with comedy. It was a very few chances in the entire series for Tommy to free. He's been such an energetic catalyst for our story. Meaning, obviously, he brings so much energy into the scenes. You had a lot of exposition with the AUSAs and with other aspects of our series. So you had Tommy that's kind of constant. It was also very special because
So Debbie, who was in the last one, brought us all up there so that we would watch the show and we could have the same experience as everybody else, you know. Now you guys get to experience what we experience, you know, and this is how I know a lot of stuff, man. Y'all don't even realize how many people in the writing room, how many writers who used to work on the show, how many concepts that were real that came out. Season 3 ending was so unenergetic because it was changed into a boring ending where Tommy and Ghost teamed up together to take down Milan. And this is where Tommy and Ghost was going separately, because this is where season 3 they were gonna Kanan, 50 Cent character was basically, they wanted to keep him around because Kanan was popular. but they wanted to play out the scenario of the kidnapping of Tariq. And it was like, this doesn't make sense. Well, we've already introduced another character in here. Now everybody loves this character, but she was only supposed to be there. Jukebox was supposed to be there for that season only. So now you got too much going on at one time. You got Milan, Jukebox, Kanan. You got all of this crap happening basically around the same time. It's a mess. Season 3 is a mess. You got Tommy and Holly. You got Tommy and dealing with Holly's mess early in the season. They living together. You have that cycle thing. So season 3 was a gumbo pot of everybody's ideas thrown together on the screen and made for a big, gigantic mess. Now, they just tried to weave all of it together to make it look like a beautiful piece of art. Like, wow, look at this beautiful piece of art. But in reality, it was a mess. Season 3 was not supposed to end like that at all. What they wanted to do was not kill off Jukebox just yet. That's what they wanted to do, was to keep her character around, but to keep her, she wasn't going to be available. She had other projects coming up, so they couldn't keep Anaki Rose. They couldn't keep her on the schedule, so they's like, we gotta have to have her only for this season. And he's like, it sucks, but yeah, so we got to bring that conclusion to an end with this Kanan and the corruption part. But Kanan was supposed to corrupt Tyreek. Tyreek was supposed to come up with a way to get Jukebox and Milan to cross paths, to where Jukebox, because she's a police officer, was going to go in that route. Kanan and Ghost was supposed to have this whole rematch thing. When he finds out Kanan's alive, Kanan decides he can't go through with it, because now they want to make Kanan like the anti-hero, which I said a long time ago. Like, he's the anti-hero. So what Kanan's going to end up doing is switching to a good guy role. It's like pro wrestling. He's feeling a connection with Tyreek that he didn't have with his own son. So now, after killing Sean and the whole nine, Tyreek come up with a way to get away from Jukebox, because he realized Jukebox is the one that's keeping him away from his family. And he just thought that, okay, well, I got to contact my mom. So it's like, oh, she know you here and all this. So they was keeping him there. Well, he don't even know he's kidnapped. And then Jukebox is like, you ain't leaving, and blah, 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 blah. So he comes up with a way to get Milan and to get her on Milan's trail. It's like, oh, he's got the money and he won't give us the money and this and that. So Kanan and Tyreek work together, and they come up with a scheme to get, it's going to end up tying everything in a perfect bow. That Milan ends up getting basically set up by Jukebox, and by her killing a cop, it exposed him when he was all about being private. So when Milan was revealed after he killed a cop, the Chicago police, well, not in Chicago, but New York Police Department ended up killing, I gunned him down for killing a cop, and she got honored. Jukebox got honored. They showed her funeral. They was carrying her with the flag, gave her a big police honor and everything. So when she was buried, she had a big memorial. They praised Hero Cop, like all the terrible things Jukebox has done, and she was honored. Like, they were blowing the pipes for her. They had the march down the street, and the studio said, that's too much money. We're not doing it. Yeah, Jukebox did a show. Lori, yeah, she got hired for a show and it got canceled. So did Tasha. Tasha left at the Power Book 2. She wasn't supposed to be back. Tasha was doing the show. She was in there singing that show Queens with Brandy, I believe, and her and all them. And it lasted one season. Yeah, that was 50 Cent. Once again, bringing the artist that he was working with, Ratumi, brought him on there and got his acting credits up. No, it would have saved a lot of those guys. It would have saved a lot of things that they had. Ghost and Tommy wasn't gonna have anything to do with Milan getting hit. They were setting up to he was trying to convince Tommy to do the setup, and they were gonna try to figure out what happened and realize Kanan the one that did it, as he brought Tariq back to him and told him what happened, and that's when he told him who he was and told Kanan and all that. He didn't want to go through it. And he just like, but I'm keeping the money. It was funny. It was like he had the bread and was like, I'm keeping the money though. No, this still is a kidnapping. But he explained to Tariq the whole thing, like, man, I was running game on you. That whole line was in there and everything. I was running game on you. I just wanted to get the money and this and that and this and that. And I couldn't go through with it, you know. You more like my son than Sean ever was. And that's how he broke all that down to him. It was like, so, but I couldn't let her do you like that. Couldn't let her do you like that. So, because he was like, Juke was going to get the bread and was going to kill you too. And you. Both of y'all. Y'all both was out of there. You know that. Juke wasn't going to play. So he knew that in the whole speech, but he's like, but I'm keeping the money still. No, there's still a kidnapping there. I mean, that would have worked. All of that would have ended season 3 right. Studio rewrites, and we got a terrible ending for season 3. They just take Milan in the warehouse, and him and Ghost and Tommy just shoot him dead. It was just so stupid. I said, this is so dumb. Then you got this whole other ending for Jukebox in another warehouse with just him and Ghost, which is another ending. It's like, oh my God, this is just getting dumber and dumber. Yeah. I mean, I wish it was, man. It's a lot of shows that's like that. I just know there was so many things that was happening on Power that just was accidental and last minute changes in scripts and the original scripts that was written and characters who was supposed to come that never showed up. They ended up saying, oh, this character is going to be on the show. We don't have this. And then that whatever happened, it didn't work out. So yeah, 50 got Lala on the show, and then they kept her character on longer because, she was married to Carmelo Anthony. So that's notoriety for the show. And right, and going down this road, it was going to open a lot of doors for her. Jukebox is based on a character. This is how 50 had a lot of influence on it, because Jukebox is actually a character based on a lesbian girl that was from Southside Jamaica, Queens. She wore braids all the time and was just hard as you know what. And she was a female cop. too, and she was dirty. So, but he made the character based on the girl from Southside Jamaica, Queens. And I think she wasn't a cop, she was a security guard or something. She did security and stuff. And she ain't played no games. She had a crew, they did B&Es, everything. Like she'll be security somewhere, and then it'll be like, okay, I know their whole system, and later she'll go back with a crew and just wipe them out. And I think she got shot dead in a robbery. And I think she was from Southside Jamaica, Queens, and I think that's where he got the jukebox character from. Yeah, he just didn't have the look of a hitter. You know, Dre, but Fifth got Dre on the show when they started. He was like, I get my guy Dre to do it. You know, my artist that I got coming up for the music soundtrack. Because the only reason it's got greenlit was because of 50 Cent. If 50 Cent don't do Power, there is no show. The show don't go. If 50 Cent, it don't get greenlit by Starz. It'd have been on the developmental table for hell forever. So they just said, all right, we through with it. When 50 Cent, because they wanted 50 Cent to be Ghost. And then that didn't happen. And Michael J. White was who they wanted to be. Oh, he'll be a good Ghost. But they was like, I don't think he could pull off James St. Patrick, though. See, James St. Patrick has to look as if he could be, there's no way you would see him doing anything like what they're accusing him of. Like he's the drug lord. He's businessman. But if you look at Michael J. White, I mean, that's his name, Michael J. White, the martial artist. He don't look like somebody who wouldn't be in the drug world. He looks just like somebody that could be in that goddamn drug world. The Angela pregnant scene and her wanting to get the abortion because she wanted to work. Will she keep the baby? Will she have the abortion? All of that was crazy. You know, they were scared. The networks didn't want to get into that because it was the Trump thing with the abortions and it was during the election. They didn't want to touch that. It was during the election time. And that was the big thing about the abortion rights and have the baby, or do you not want to have a baby? Too much red tape. You don't want to go through that. You want to just have a peaceful transition. You don't want to deal with a lot of red tape. Oh, by all means, please hit the like button. I appreciate it. Thank you. No, what keeping Ghost's character alive was never in the books because it was all about his sins coming back to getting him. This is the lesson that is learned, not to glorify the drug deal. You know, so, and have you noticed in all the movies they make about these drug lords, in the end, they die, they get killed. You know, that's you got to basically sign on to have that happen. You know, the drug dealers don't win. They die and go to prison. That's why they love it. They made a movie about Frank Lucas because Frank Lucas in the end ratted and helped the police. So in the end, the police win. The drug dealers don't win in the end. So this is what they want to do. They want to deviate from you, from watching these type of things here. Yeah, when I was selected, I was very happy because I didn't have to be selected. They didn't have to choose me, but they, I was chosen, and oh, 100 times. 100 times over. I was very happy with it.
Show. I've been a fan, like most of us have been for a long time, for many moons, at least since '91 for me.
Yes.
Yes. So I really had impressed. And Joe Carino, who plays Vincent, is one of my favorite actors in the world, and a very good friend of Debbie's, and I thought their scenes together really made it.
Is he more favorite than Omari Hardwick? Ghost?
Absolutely not. No. Omari Hardwick, I just had an amazing time working with him. Omari is just an amazing person, especially from action to cut. You never know what you're gonna get right there. Joe Carino took me to his family's village with him and his wife and their family in the hills in Italy. So that's pretty special on there too. I had a great time as well. So you get those benefits. Mike Dopin, Canadian, showed me Canada, Montreal, and Vancouver, and so you get some of these great things. It's a wonderful opportunity, family at best, and at worst, it's still a wonderful time. So it's a pretty great situation to be in.
In this particular episode, you had a really special bond with Denise Murray.
Yes.
Why was that written in there like that? Did you see yourself in her?
I think Tommy saw himself in her for sure. And I think we all can kind of see ourselves in Elisa Marie's journey of people that have let us down, people that have drug, alcohol addictions that are distant, that we love. And also, I think that we take on those burdens and to see that reflected into a kid saying, is it making an awful person that I miss that ring more than this, put words in her mouth, this abusive person who tortured me, put me through hell mentally in my life. No, it's not wrong to have something that was comforting, beautiful, instead of something that caused you constant pain. It doesn't mean she didn't love her mother. It just means that life is hard.
I wish you would get rid of the ring again.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much control or input do you guys have with the script? So you're given the script. Do you have to follow it, or can you make suggestions?
I'd love to hear what Debbie has to say in terms of how your incredible career resonated. Other projects where that's accepted to talk about story more than other projects.
Absolutely. I mean, there's some projects that are going to look like Spike films, and a lot of it was in problems. Like, we got to go off on it. A lot of other people, even like Scorsese, there's a lot of good projects as well. But a lot of directors also, like my grandmother wanted, like to the T, the docs, commas, like theater. And in this particular episode, some stuff is on the cutting room floor, but Joe and I both speak Italian. So we decided, because we decided to scream each other in Italian about this whole scene. And there's like straws, so he's like, you fucking asshole. Italian is still in there, but in this one, the director was very specific, and I had to try to kind of fight my way out of a couple of like boxes because I'm a mother. And I felt like, here I am with a child that's lost her father, her uncle,
Her mother.
Her mother. I mean, it's really sad. And there's a lot of drugs, a lot of knowledge about mob and murder. She does that recording. So I kind of like went a little big emotional. I don't know if PMS in my child, but very emotional in some scenes because it was very, very deep and sad. And you want me to take it down. I'm like, no. I don't care, but ultimately they have the power. You can like act anymore.
I think that's a big thing that we're not getting when we don't necessarily have the power to influence story.
Right?
That's what stories are trying to push that. But actors like that are fearless, ferocious, and are able to have the ability to be very large in terms of their emotional exuberance, but to keep it real, grounded, human.
And on that note, that's when they brought in to make a story and make it more the thing with him and that character that worked, and the fans could not stand her, but she was so great at what she did, Holly, that when they killed her off of the show, Joseph was like, we kind of did that a little too early. We need her toxicity with her and like have her go away, come back. Don't kill her off so quick. And Tommy eventually was going to have to choose between her and Ghost. So, yeah, it worked in the dynamic that they kind of like. Let me see here. I got to check my blood pressure. Okay, you can stop now, homie. Oh, now there's an error. I knew it. I knew it. See what happened? See what happened? All right, here we go. Ooh, 135 over 75. Oh, baby. Now we talking about language. Yeah. 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 See, don't know what time it is. Oh, I would drop the link, Outlaw. It's just that I got to get up out of here. So I'll see y'all on the Patreon. We got stuff coming up on the Patreon. Definitely pay attention to that. So I'm up out. Love, peace, and hair grease. Shouts out to everybody that support the channel. Kwame Brown, Ticket TV, Dreamers Pro, man, Showface News, Damn DPOV. Man, there's so many of y'all. Welcome to HDI TV. And we out the door. Man, you see everybody having heart attacks? Shoot, I gotta take this serious.